One of the most difficult things that people struggle with on their healing journey, and I myself am still implementing this into my own practice, which is holding yourself accountable and taking responsibility for the internal work that needs to be done within the self. Basically, taking responsibility for how much you contribute to your own suffering. A lot of times people may call this shadow work or integrating the ego, but when it boils down to it, it's just a form of accountability practice. Having accountability can be hard because it forces you to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm actually the one that's messing up here, 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 and here. And then also having the integrity to make a change. It's so easy to stay rooted in what we find to be comfortable or to divert our attention to people and things that may have done us wrong in the past. But when it comes to looking our own self in the mirror, that's something that a lot of us struggle with. That's why today, that way, that's why I have come up with another practical healing strategy that is rooted in self-reflection, responsibility, and accountability. So, of course, I have another journaling exercise, so you're going to want to get out your pens and paper. But before that, if you're new here, hello, my name is Anya. On this channel, we make practical health, wellness, and science content so you can liberate your mind, body, and your soul. All right, let's get into it. So I've been kind of going back and forth with myself for as long as I've had this channel on whether or not I wanted to take this into a spiritual space. If you know me, you know I'm a very spiritual woman, but I keep this channel very science-backed. And I realized that I've done this because I wanted to uphold this sophistication, and I wanted to be as credible as possible for everyone. But I'm realizing as I get older that I'm not here to appease people, to prove myself, or to make content digestible for everyone. I'm here for myself and the people who want to witness that. So, hello everybody. I am Anya, the spiritual woman today, and we're gonna get into what I've been learning spiritually. So we are gonna be touching on the topic of moonology, which is using the moon cycles and applying the energies that comes with each phase to your life. You are going to need to have a previously written entry in order to do this exercise that I'm going to show you right now. This is your reflection, okay? So here is my entry already written down. And I wrote this down on April 27th, 2025, and it was a new moon in Taurus. Now, quick overview, a new moon is used in moonology to symbolize the energy of new beginnings. So in this energy, they say that it's best to plant seeds or lay your intentions, what you want to accomplish during this new phase. So because a new moon is the initiation of a new cycle, everything that you want to see come alive or to be produced in this new cycle, you want to start getting clear on that now. So it was a new moon in Taurus. Let's break down what this means. Imagine a parentheses around new moon. This is telling you the type of intention you want to set. Like I said, planting seeds, setting goals, laying the groundwork for a new cycle or new beginnings in your life. Now place parentheses around in Taurus. This is telling you the type of energy that this new moon is in and the themes that it's going to present to you. So a new moon in Taurus translates to new beginnings in the energy of self, foundations, values, money, who you want to be, who you are, your morals, your ethics, and things like that. So I like to break my new moon entry into segmented areas of my life, i.e. work, friendships and relationships, family, self, spirituality. Then what I'll do is apply the themes of the current zodiac sign that the new moon is in that area of my life while I'm setting my goals. So for example, I know that the current theme in Taurus is values. So what I did was I wrote down what I value in my work life. So I value being confident, staying focused, producing good results, and learning opportunities. So those are also going to be the intentions that I lay for this next cycle. And then underneath my intentions for this cycle, I write my goals. My goals for this cycle was to work on my resume and to apply for more jobs. You can pause the video here and start working on that entry. And when you're ready, you can join me for the next step. Okay, so you have your entry, you're all good. And now we're progressing on in the moon cycle. And like I said, each phase of the moon brings about different energy, and I will be glad to talk about that in a different video. But for now, let's skip to the exercise of reflection, which comes about in the energy of a full moon. We are approaching, or if I have this video, don't have this video out, we have just passed the full moon in Gemini. And full moons bring about the energy of reflection, introspection. When you think of a full moon, think of illumination. The moon is completely visible in the sky and it is completely bright. There is no dark side. And this is a great time to do that reflection work and also incorporate accountability. So I think of the accountability portion of this exercise as giving yourself a grade, a letter grade for that period. So you know how in school we would do our tests and we would get a grade back. You're gonna do exactly that. So at the top of your previously written entry, go ahead and write the current date. And then next to the current date, write reflection. You are going back and you are grading your work and how much you actually accomplished within this entry. What I did was I went in and I circled the themes that I know for sure presented themselves during this time. I circled things like values, self, letting go. And I underlined, who do I want to be? Because that was the overarching theme that came up during that cycle that I realized was connecting all these areas of my life together, right? It was so who do you really want to be? These are your values, these are your goals, but what are these things saying about you and your character? And then I just went in under each area of my life and I circled the things that I feel like I accomplished. When you go into your journal, circle the things from your previous entry that you feel like you did well on or you aced those lessons. Do not circle the things that you feel like you did not do too well on or those lessons did not appear in this cycle. I feel like I still can work on being confident, so I left that uncircled under my work category. And then here comes the accountability part. When you reach a theme in your life or a goal that you wrote down that you wanted to accomplish but didn't, you must dock yourself points. So I set a goal in my work category to apply for jobs and to work on my resume. But guess what I didn't do? Apply for jobs or work on my resume. So I docked myself 2 points. Okay, so now we're going down the list into friendships and relationships. I circled pull back energy, more boundaries, pivot my energy to myself. And I just am now emerging out of a hermit mode, so I did do that successfully. So there was nothing in that category that I lost points for. Okay, we move on. In the category of self, I circled surrender more spiritually. Now, when you do this practice, you're going to realize that not everything or every theme or every intention that you wrote down is going to be circled. And that's okay, because what we're doing is we're reflecting. We are figuring out what were the messages that were resonating with us the most during this time. What was spirit trying to tell us? So I circled surrender more spiritually. And then for the goals, I had therapy, doing my Saturday ritual, and to pray over myself. And out of those goals, I forgot to pray over myself. And I think honestly that I'm a very empathetic person, and I care deeply about the people around me. So it's not a bad thing that I pray for other people more than I pray for myself, but I really wanted to use this new moon in Taurus to focus on self. And now as I'm reflecting and looking back, I'm realizing that I am falling short a little bit in that area. And that's why I really like this practice, is because you can easily pinpoint those things that you need to work on by going back and just revisiting your previous journal entries. Being able to see that transition from who you were back then to who you are now is going to give you the clarity to see, okay, this is what changed. This is what didn't change. And now in this moment, I have the power, because I'm taking accountability and taking action, I have the power to shift myself into the person who I want to be in my next phase. So yeah, when I finally give myself the letter grade, I only lost 4 points. So that's a 96 out of 100, and that is still an A. Woo! I had an A for this cycle, which means that I have an excuse to celebrate myself if I want to. That's also another thing, when you take accountability and you look at yourself in that face, celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you did the hard thing, which was looking at your own self and seeing where you are letting yourself down. I realize that I'm letting myself down in the area of doing things for myself and prioritizing myself. Also, I realize that I'm letting my future self down because I'm not applying myself and applying to jobs and working on my resume. That's a future self problem, right? So when you do this, you're able to really see, like, okay, maybe I am the drama, and that's okay. And like I said, when you get down to this and you see that you still have a very high letter grade, or maybe you don't have a high letter grade, maybe you have a C or a D this cycle, what can you do? What can you do to change that, right? Because now we're here and we can see, okay, do I like this letter grade? Are the areas of my life that I overlooked, is this a pattern for me? It is going to start revealing those patterns. And when you get to the bottom of those patterns, then you can start learning how to pivot out of them and also seeing where they might stem from. And what I can do and what I suggest that you do when you move forward into a different entry, a different phase, is bring the things along with you that you did not hit this time. I'm going to bring more attention to myself in this next round, and I'm going to make sure that I prioritize applying for jobs and working on my resume, because that is something that's important to me in my future. This is accountability, and using this exercise on your previous journal entries is how you proactively take accountability for your own self. Okay, sweethearts, that's the end of this video. It's a quick one. Just wanted to get that out there and show you what I've come up with and what strategies have been working for me so far. Thanks again for stopping by. I hope you really enjoyed, and please let me know either in the comments or on Instagram DMs how this is helping you. Absolutely love to hear your feedback. That's all we got for today. Have a fabulous full moon in Gemini, and I'll see you guys next week.